Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. We are back again. Yes, as we promised, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back consistently talking about various things about sport. And today we have chosen a topic of grave importance, in my opinion, because when we talk about sport, one of the most important things what we need to keep in mind is the mental side of things, workload, managing each player, because all these are high performance athletes. And one thing which we are seeing in the modern times, especially with the likes of Ben Stokes coming out of the blue and announcing his retirement from one day cricket, is that players are humans at the end of the day, and you don't expect them to work like machines. And we set expectations from them in an unrealistic passion, in an unrealistic fashion, I believe. Right now, we are here to talk about various things concerning players and how their workload should be managed going ahead, and also looking at the World Cricket FTP scheduling from ICC. Sandibani is here with me once again. Sandibani looking fresh and sleek, shaved. How are you doing, man? And what do you think about this topic? I want to know a general overview on this.
Yeah, firstly, I had a break after a long time. Like I was busy with my exams and stuff. So finally back home. So a lot relaxed. And talking about relaxation, I think players are in that day and age when they definitely need some sort of relaxation. And it's like we hear this term called noise cancellation, where they just want to be detached from whatever is happening outside the field. They don't want to hear from anything from the outsiders. Recently we had a sort of a explosive comment from Rohit Sharma regarding Virat Kohli's form when he was asked that Kapil Dev had stated that Kohli does not deserve a place, not exactly deserve a place, but he quoted as that India can look beyond Kohli for the T20 World Cup. So he said that
Right.
whatever is happening in the external world does not affect what is happening within the team management. The team management, the coaching staff, they have a specific way about going about things, and basically the leadership group of the team, they take the responsibility of sort of letting the players know, and keeping the players in the right frame of
Yeah.
mind, right space of mind. And especially talking about that, we have seen not just in the sport of cricket. Even if you consider tennis, we had the I think Naomi Osaka. She retired pretty early because of the same reason. 24,
Yeah.
25 years old.
Yeah.
Like they are not being able to cope up with the pressure and expectations of the world. That is
Mm.
a very one when we put it out,
One of the
it
latest
sounds
addition
very
was
simple.
Barty from Australia as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ashley Bartley. Yeah.
Ash Barty was another player who has
And
just
all,
announced his
and they
retirement at a very
were
young
the
age.
best in their game. I mean, the moment when they retired, all both of them were like world number one, the peak of rating. So
Yeah.
it just goes to show that the expectations and the sort of the way the people expect them to perform, it sort of creates a lot of pressure for them, and often they
Yeah.
are not able to cope with it, and hence they sort of spiral down into depression, and uh, somewhere down the line they lose the motivation to play the game.
Right.
So yeah, that's a huge concern, and it's not the first time we have seen Ben Stokes take a break. I mean, he took a well deserved break after sort of going into we can say depression. We don't know, like not being in the right frame of mind. So he had a break, he came back, uh, took the helm of the red ball cricket for England, and started off
Mm.
brilliantly. And well, he rightly figured out, well, it was not working for him in the shorter formats of the game, and hence he took that decision. At the end of the day, it's a call that the player has to make. Nobody can make it for them, and
Yeah.
we just have to respect what they're doing, because all of them are really accomplished and great players in
Mm.
the field. And if
I
they
mean,
feel,
absolutely. Let's put this statement by Ben Stokes. It's a statement of grave importance. People, often tend to write it off. People often tend to look beyond a particular aspect and feel that they're not giving national team enough importance. I think right now we have to talk about it because it is concerning to a large extent. It is reached a level where we have to treat players like human beings, because you look at them like superheroes where they cannot get tired. They have to just keep going. They have to go in and perform every match. That you expect a lot out of them. You want them to be consistent as possible. That's why you're seeing someone like Virat Kohli has scored 70 hundreds, has been facing the brunt of things. He has been facing a lot of flack because of the very fact that he's not been able to perform for the last 2 years. And last 2 years has been the most difficult time in sport if you look in general, because bio bubbles, traveling has been very constrained. And also mental side of things do kick in as well. And he was also the captain of your all format team in India, because he was captaining a test side, T20,
And
one day.
also, not to forget, there was some backlash. We had discussed this about this in our previous live. There was
Yeah,
also something got to do with the management. There was some discrepancy with Saurav Ganguly coming out commenting something, and other members of the BCCI as well coming and commenting something, and Kohli coming out and stating the exact opposite fact. So there was
yeah.
definitely tension within the group,
That's in
and
a later stage, I believe. But we talk about why is Virat Kohli taking a break? Why should Virat Kohli take a break? Why can't he go out there and bat? We also talk about why is Ben Stokes taking a break? Why is Josh Butler taking a break? Is that even are they even giving national team enough importance? For God's sake, at least for now, we should understand they're not army men and they're cricket players. And we treat them like army men. That's just so wrong, I believe, in my opinion, because we often talk to them like, oh, you're representing your nation. And you need to remember they're sports players who put in enough commitment. They work in day in and day out to go out there and perform. They do understand their body. They do understand what really goes in. We saw that with Hardik Pandya, right? Hardik Pandya
yeah,
was played way too many times that he had a breakdown. He had a serious breakdown. I remember the Asia Cup in 2018 where he came into ball. He had a breakdown against Pakistan, and from there on it started for him, and it went on for 3 years and 4 years actually. 2022 is when he has actually made a proper
yeah.
comeback. So you
And I
know how
think that
it
was
actually
a
affect the
much
player.
needed break. Whatever Hardik Pandya got, I think that was a much needed. If he wouldn't have got that break, I don't think he would have come out so strong. If he would have sort of continued
Yeah,
playing and not getting those performances, somewhere down the line he would have got bogged down. And eventually,
yeah,
with the competition that the Team India has right now, with all
yeah,
these youngsters and young talents from IPL making a mark, and all sorts of domestic cricket, the Said Mustaq Ali Trophy, Ranji Trophy, all these players are having their say, making an impact, and asking the selectors to pick them. So definitely, I think this was a break that Hardik Pandya needed, because otherwise he was well written off.
yeah,
We might as well use the term written off, because
yeah,
frankly speaking, right at the end of, or right at the start of 2022, right before the IPL, nobody would have thought that Hardik Pandya would have played for Team India again. Especially
yeah,
because we thought that, yeah, it's got to do with some sort of discipline,
yeah,
one might say consistency, because he did not have that consistency.
mm,
He was
mm,
playing 1 or 2 games here and there. No, he was not playing Ranji Trophy and all those domestic formats.
yeah.
So one might always think that he's starting to become a bit sort of
One dimensional as a
the
cricketer.
pride is
Yeah.
kicking in. Yeah, yeah, the pride is kicking in, and
Yeah,
he
I
just
mean,
does not.
that's the same question, right? Now you are seeing cricketers of different generation come out saying that they're not giving national team enough importance. But you need to understand, maybe an era ago, or probably 20 years ago. Maybe let's skip 2 decades as a yardstick over here to compare, right? 2 years ago, or 2 decades ago, sorry. The amount of cricket which was played was very minimal, and now you want your players to even to go out there and play Ranji Trophy. What kind of rubbish is that? Because you already expect them to go out there and perform in national team. They are performing. You want them to go play Ranji Trophy, play even more cricket without zero breaks. You're having all three formats. And if you talk about a previous generation, you had mainly Test cricket. Maybe you had a one-day series here and there, which was partly a tri-series once in every 2 months. You didn't have the number of cricket. Now you have series every week. You finish with the England series tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, India are playing West Indies in the Caribbean. Then after that, you're playing Asia Cup in a week's time. You're playing Bangla. You're going to Zimbabwe. Then you're playing Australia. Then you're playing the World Cup. Then you're playing New Zealand, and it's just going to keep going. And
Yeah,
you barely have any breaks. You barely have a 2 month break. And before, if you remember, you had that 2 month window where players used to go out there, just relax, and come back and just rejuvenate themselves. Now in the 2 month break, you have an IPL as well. So it's never easy for any team, especially India, England, Australia. Their FTP scheduling is pretty tight, and that's where you feel like you need to have second string teams. You need to have teams which will go out there and play kind of cricket, which is which will definitely help the senior players to take enough time off from the game. And I believe Virat Kohli taking break is no not a bad thing at all, because people talk about his form, people talk about how much has it been, getting into him. But I think sometimes a very long break is so important. Maybe I would say Virat Kohli to even take a 3 month break. Just get away from the
Yeah,
sport,
but
switch
then
off completely.
my the only issue that I have with Virat Kohli in particular taking a break is, I mean, you can take Virat Kohli can definitely, he deserves a break. He can definitely take a break. But the thing with Virat Kohli is he's playing one series, he's taking a break on the next one, he's playing another series and taking a break on the next one. So basically, he's playing alternate series and skipping all the teams, like sort of teams like Zimbabwe, West Indies, where he can get those runs and
I mean,
get his
that's my
confidence
point,
back.
right? That's my
And
point.
right now, I think Virat
That's my
Kohli,
point
all he
again.
needs more than the break, I think he
The
needs
issue
his
is that
confidence to be
in
back.
this modern day and age, we are unable to understand what a player really wants. We're
Yeah.
unable to understand what is really going through a player because we are kind of judging
I
him
think even the
from
players
an
find it
outside
very difficult.
perspective.
I mean, none of the professional cricketers will feel from inside with the passion that they have for the game. They won't feel from the inside, yeah, I need a break right now.
Yeah,
Unless you are sort of playing continuously for 4 or 5 months continuously,
yeah,
then you might think, yeah, definitely, I deserve a break. I need a break.
yeah.
But uh, in the case of some players like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they have been on and off. Rohit Sharma, especially because of injuries, he's the captain
Mm,
of the Indian side in all the three formats, and we hardly
mm.
see Rohit Sharma play series like regularly. So
I mean,
it's a,
you can't really blame him as well. But now we really hope that he stays regular in the team. It's injuries are part and parcel of a player's career
and
as well.
it's really
That's when you really get
unfortunate. I
played.
mean, yeah, it's definitely a part and parcel of the game. But
Yeah,
when you think about it, it's really unfortunate getting to captain the side and only being able to captain the side in, say, one out of every three series.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a definitely a letdown. And I'll
Truly.
definitely with the
Let's
West
talk
Indies
about
tour coming.
Ben
Yeah.
Stokes now because the world cricket is talking about him because he has come out and dropped a bombshell, and he has been very vocal about mental side of the game. He has been very vocal about taking breaks, how important it is to take those big breaks, and he did take a long break as well. If you remember, he took a 6 month break from cricket right after his father's demise. It really got to him that he had to take a break. You have seen that with Glenn Maxwell previously that he was very vocal about treating mental side of the game very on a pedestal where it should be held, where it should be treated. And yesterday also during our live we did speak about how mental side of the game is so important and how we should be giving that part of the game so much more importance like we give for the game what they play out on the field as well, because mental side of the game is what it is all about. I think there's 25% of skill, 25% of what you're blessed with your hard work and everything, but there's 75% of what it goes through you mentally. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind, you could be the greatest batsman in the world, but then you could just get out in the most bizarre way possible. And that's something I believe has been happening without Kohli. And for a player like Virat Kohli, maybe a good 2 month break would do him a world of good because he should just quit. I mean, just don't touch the bat. Just don't think about the game. Just go out there, play, and maybe just go out there, train. Training is so important. I think uh, it doesn't mean just completely get away from the game, but just don't think about Indian team and all those things. Just block all the noise. Go to the basics. Just take a break. Go to your childhood coach. Train with him and just get back and mold yourself, up your skill in the best possible way. So this could be a break which could do better for him as well. I mean, he knows his body, he knows his mental side better than anybody else as well. And with Ben Stokes, how surprised were you when that decision came out? Because this statement, I'll pull it up again. It's a statement which makes a lot of sense. We are not cars, and we cannot just keep going by putting in petrol or diesel. And this statement makes a lot of relevance in the modern game, right? He's a fast bowling all rounder. Let's keep that in mind. His workload is much more higher than a normal player in an English setup. And him taking a call of retirement from ODI cricket, did it come as a surprise, or did you expect this round the corner after him being appointed as a test captain?
Yeah, honestly, it really did come as a surprise, especially because he was just handed the Test captaincy, and he just got back to playing international cricket. Like he hasn't played a lot of ODIs. I was just checking the stats of Ben Stokes, and he has been playing international cricket for England since 2013, so almost 9 years, complete 9 years now, and he has in those 9 years played only 104 ODIs. uh,
Okay.
on contrast to playing 83 test matches. So 83 test matches and 104 ODIs. When you compare the two, you feel that yeah, he has played
Yeah.
way lesser ODIs than some of his contemporaries. But uh, the thing with Ben Stokes is, when you talk about the mental side of it, I never felt that Ben Stokes was a player who would be sort of affected with the mental side of things, because you don't often see a player getting hit for four sixes in the final over of a T20 World Cup final, and then coming back so strongly, scoring those 257 runs against South Africa, taking his side to another World Cup win, 50 over World Cup
Yeah,
win single handedly almost in the finals,
yeah,
and then that Ashes game. So when you
yeah.
see those innings, you feel you attach
No,
somebody
Ben
like,
Stokes, there was no commitment. There was no question about his commitment because
yeah,
he
not just
was a
commitment. I think
light-hearted cricketer,
the
right?
mental character. I think just the strength that he has, the
Yeah,
mental strength. I think that's huge for somebody to believe that you can chase down 100 and some 100 89 90 runs with the last wicket remaining, with Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, Josh
mm,
Hazelwood coming at you. It's just immense belief, and I think definitely so. Taking all that into consideration, I never felt that this decision really came as a surprise for me. But then again, we knew that Ben Stokes had been sort of been mentally really down in the last
yeah,
few years or so, and especially more after the demise of his father. So
yeah,
this, yeah, more or less this should have been expected, but it really came as a surprise for me. And I think
yeah.
he has been a gem for the England
I
side,
mean,
in whatever format of the
it's
game he
quite
plays.
funny, right? And it's a thing which we talk about life as well. That the people who look the most toughest could you do not know what is happening inside them,
Yeah,
and it's a
definitely.
thing which happens with every person. I'm just not talking about sports here. It's about life as well. Where you might be looking the most, you might be the toughest cookie out there, but then inside you might be just a softie who might crumble very quickly, and you are more prone to being crumbled than anybody else out there. So you might be the most strongest person out there in the field, the character what you possess, the kind of mental side of things, you might break at some stage. That's the same thing with what I feel has happened with Ben Stokes. That's the same thing
Yeah,
what I think has been happening with Virat Kohli as well. Virat Kohli looks very jovial on the field, he looks very pumped up, but we do not know what's happening inside him. And if
definitely.
you know
And
Virat
I
Kohli the
think
player,
we
so
can come
something
at
is
a
not
point for
right
Virat
with him as
Kohli
well.
when we come at like when you come here in every live, we talk about Virat Kohli and the mental state that he is in, and with all the technique flaws and all the like the opposition, the points that they are picking up, and the
Yeah,
weaknesses that they're picking from Virat Kohli. But what I feel is Virat Kohli does not need a break. I'll continue to stand by that statement. What I feel honestly is Virat Kohli needs his confidence. Needs to regain his confidence. The
yeah,
confidence with which he came out and scored those 70 centuries. Even
yeah,
though he might show you from the outside that yeah, he's all pumped up and he's having those banters with
yeah,
say a Bairstow, and he's just
yeah,
enjoying each and every wicket falling. He's enjoying like celebrating with all his teammates when a wicket falls. But deep down, you always know that if you're not scoring runs, no matter what he says, it's going in the back of his mind that definitely when you are playing,
yeah,
it's a team sport, so 11 players are playing and you are consistently not being able to put that decisive factor in the game,
yeah,
not be that decisive element in the game, which he had been over the last uh, 11 12 years, especially after
yeah.
that 2012 uh, the game against Commonwealth game against Sri Lanka, the
Yes.
game where he thrashed Lasith Malinga.
He also has come out saying that that is a knock of his lifetime, which actually
Yeah,
turned his career,
definitely.
which
So
gave him the
basically,
belief
he
that
has
things turn it
dominated
around.
dominated the game of cricket for the last 10 years
I
across
mean,
all
yeah, so
formats.
you're talking about confidence. Confidence is also very much a mental thing.
Yeah,
Confidence is
definitely.
naturally
I'm just talking
proportional to
about
how you
confidence
feel
because
mentally.
I don't think he's really high on confidence right now.
Yeah,
Because
it has to do a lot with mental side of things also, right? Confidence is a
definitely,
thing
definitely,
which
confidence is
is
something that is
truly
that
mental,
you have
and
within, and I think
I think
Kohli had
form is
immense
mental.
confidence.
Form is never a thing of technique. Form is totally a
Yeah, yeah,
mental
yeah.
thing. Form is about how
We
you
always say
feel.
form is temporary, class is permanent. So
I mean, yeah,
no,
that is a thing which we often repeat. But let's
yeah,
explain what is exactly form. We talk about form being something which you do well on a physical attribute. You are able to contribute or do something physically so well. But what really goes behind the form? It is the mental side of things. You might be feeling really low today. Your bat, your timing of the bat, right? Your bat swing, your way in which you line up to the ball, the way in which you get ready, the way in which you shape up, everything might just go down if your shoulders drop, or if your form, which we speak about so highly, which is the mental side of things, just dips down in a drastic way. So I think form is totally a mental side of thing, and I think one needs to understand form is not something which has to do anything with your technique. You might be so confident as a player. You might have so many technical flaws. You might not be the most technically gifted player, but then you can still manage to go through if you have so much of confidence. I think one of the clear cut examples is Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant, on the face of it, might look like he has so many chinks in the armor when it comes to his batting. He might look
Yeah.
like he will face a lot of technical flaws, but then the confidence at which he bats, the confidence which he carries, is so good that
You
it is
need
making
that
him
sort of
overpower
confidence
or
to
overshadow the technical flaws.
reverse sweep James Anderson when he's had the peak of his form.
Yeah, I mean, you see, maybe I've seen Rishabh Pant also low and out. I
Yeah,
remember back in 2018 or 19, right
19.
after, um, right after
After that series
2019
against
World Cup,
West Indies, I mean, he
2019
was
World Cup.
consistently failing in the T20I format.
Yeah,
So at
and
one point, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Go on, go ahead.
yeah, at one point you always felt that yeah, Rishabh Pant was a player who used to sort of give away his wicket very cheaply. Not
Yeah,
cheaply, I mean the way he got out at that point, like it sort of felt like he was not really matured as a cricketer. But if you think over the last 2 3 years, I think he has not changed anything in his game. He has been the same, and
yeah,
like people have just adapted to his gameplay. Like they have adapted to his aggressive brand of cricket. Now they know that when Rishabh Pant is coming into bat, we know that yeah, he's that X factor player who can win us the game. But
yeah,
well, if he goes like if he gets out playing one of those rash shots early on in the innings, he's not the one to blame. Like he'll play his sort of his game of cricket, and you should respect that. You should appreciate it because the value that he adds playing that brand of cricket is
yeah.
more than what he may add if you sort of ask him to play a more composed sort
Yeah,
of a knock. So I think
absolutely.
you
I
just
mean,
have to understand what type of a player the what type of a player the batsman or the bowler actually is, and what are his strengths, weaknesses, and what exactly he needs basically to
I mean,
excel.
absolutely, you're right. You're right in
And
saying
that
that. I
completely
want to know
depends on
your
your
thoughts
team
on something like
management. Yeah,
someone like Hardik Pandya as well over here, because Hardik
yeah.
Pandya also went through a lot of things mentally, but just come back. How impressed are you with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think Hardik Pandya, first of all, I think the auction, Gujarat Titans, they showed immense faith in having Hardik Pandya as their captain. Again, I have always had praises, only praises for the leadership group of the Gujarat Titans team. Ashish Nehra is according to me, one of the best minds in Indian cricket who sort of understand the pulse of the Indian bowlers, not just bowlers,
Yeah,
Indian cricketers. He
yeah,
knows exactly what the player wants to hear at that point of time. He's very animated. He knows what to say, what how to sort of groom a youngster and sort of like get them to perform at their best. I Rahul Tewatia and Hardik Pandya, David Miller are some of the exemplary examples that Gujarat Titans have shown this year. And I think a lot of credit should go to Gary Custon, Vikram Solanki, and Ashish Nehra for the development of these players, and especially Hardik Pandya, because he led this team to an IPL trophy, and not just an IPL trophy. He continued to keep that form. He came to Ireland, came to England. Like he had a brilliant series, even in the South Africa series. I think India were trailing 2-0, and sort of the momentum was completely on South Africa's favor. But that partnership between Hardik Pandya and Dinesh Karthik, that sort of gave them a new hope, and suddenly India won two on the trot, and since then I think it's been good for them. So yeah, I think the development of Hardik Pandya has been huge over the
mm,
years. Not
yeah,
just over the years. I think that break actually worked up for him. See, the
yeah,
break can often work for you, and often it may not work for you because you might have players coming in after 3 4 years and being very rigid, not being
yeah,
at the best of their best understanding of the game. They might be completely out of form. We
yeah.
have seen these examples as well. When a player is coming back after 3 4 years of hiatus, somebody like Upul Tharanga, we know he
Mm,
played a lot of like in circuits, domestic circuits, he played a lot of games. But Upul Tharanga in the 2005 2006 era for Sri Lanka was a massive sensation when he used to come to open the innings along with Sanat
Mm,
Jayasuriya. And suddenly, in early 2010s, when sort of Tilakaratne Dilshan started to open the innings, not just open the innings
mm,
with and Upul Thananga was suddenly shifted down to number three, and suddenly he was gone for a brief, not just a brief, for a 2-3 period year of time. He was not there, and then when he came back, he found it very difficult to cope with the international cricket, and he was
yeah,
not at his best. So yeah,
yeah,
you might have long breaks, and it may like come good for you, it may not come good for you, but it
yeah.
depends on what, like, everything depends on
I mean,
like it
that's
depends on
where your
person.
mental side of things is also tested as a player, right? Where
Definitely,
if you are
definitely.
if you're a strong cookie, as we earlier mentioned, that's a good analogy I could say. If you're a tough
Yeah.
cookie out there, you
And
would
I
come out.
just
You
to
wouldn't
add
want
on
to
that
even
point,
come
I
out there.
think Ben Stokes taking a retirement because of mental issues, maybe because of mental issues. It's not that he's not a tough cookie, because you
Yeah.
cannot like you have to be a tough cookie to come back from situations from where like Ben Stokes has come back from
I think you
after.
should be a tough cookie to take that call yourself because it's a very
Definitely.
tough call
First
to
of all, you
make.
have to be a tough cookie to take that call. Totally agree
Yeah,
with you on
yeah,
that.
totally, because
Because I
he
think
has
I
shown
have
a
not
talent
seen
for
a
it.
player. I have not seen a player get hit for 4 sixes, or being sort of brutalized. I mean, England were
Yeah.
on course for winning that 2016 T20I World Cup. They
Mm.
just lost it in that last over from Ben Stokes,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think kudos to the management to stick to him, to like provide him that sort of mental space, and the confidence to come back so strong. And we have seen the resurgence of Ben Stokes, and the period where he completely dominated world cricket with his all-round
Yeah,
abilities,
yeah,
especially in
and we're seeing
2019.
a similar domination from Hardik Pandya as well because
Yeah,
Hardik Pandya
I
was
think
heavily
if
criticized during the
2019
T20
was
World
to
Cup.
what 2019 was to Ben Stokes, 2022 is that to Hardik Pandya.
I mean,
Complete
I hope
resurgence of the
he
year.
leads India to the maiden World Cup as well in T20
Yeah,
World Cup. Not
definitely
maiden
hope
World
so.
Cup, but maiden T20
Yeah, I
World Cup,
mean
but
the
his maiden T20 World Cup victory.
World Cup T20 World Cup title after 15 years. It's been 15
15 years
years
is
since
going to be a
India
long
won
wait.
the inaugural one.
And it'll be redemption for him because 2021 World Cup was where he was heavily criticized. The YouTube channels and all the gurus, pundits across India came out asking for his head, saying that his commitment is less towards the nation. He's not fit to be a sports personality. His ethics is just bad. He's just a showboat. He's got nothing to
See,
do.
that
But
is where the
I'm
first
so
point comes
happy.
out. The point I spoke about noise cancellation.
Yeah,
Rohit Sharma rightly pointed out whatever happens outside. Who are these pundits? Who are these gurus? Who are we commenting on their cricket? Their like the team management and the leadership group. They will definitely know exactly what they want.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can't sit over here and criticize a player and talk about a player's mental issues of whatever be the case. We cannot
mm,
justify in any way why
yeah.
they are playing or why they are not playing. I
I mean,
mean,
that I also feel it's ridiculous because they're high performance athletes, right? They've seen things, they've felt it, they've been working really hard for last so many years. And someone like a Hardik Pandya, his talent, there was no question regarding his talent.
and I would
He was just
understand the fact
unstoppable.
if somebody like a Kapil Dev, or anybody for that matter, not just Kapil Dev, anybody, I would completely understand and back them, like the pundits or the gurus, if they would have given us some sort of statistical, not just statistical, some sort of analysis that supported their statement. You just
Yeah.
can't come out there in the open and say, yeah, a player is not motivated to play for the country. Who are you to
Mm.
say that? I mean, it was completely pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Whatever
totally
happened to
agree with
Hardik
you. Because
Pandya.
I second you on that because I've often felt that the pundits who sit behind screens and talk about it, sit in the AC rooms. I mean, we are one of them. But then, if you have played sport at
I mean, we have
stage or
statistical
something, you would know
analysis
it's
to
not easy to
support
make
our
it there.
claims.
I mean, to play for India with 1.3 billion people, having so many expectations from you and also being very consistent day in and day out is very tough, right? Even if you're the greatest player in the world, you've seen that with Tendulkar. He's
Yeah,
regarded as the greatest ever to play the game, and he had gone through so many slumps like this. He had gone through so many of these attacks. He was pelted
and
stones
he
from
was
his house.
completely picked up on after that 2011 World Cup till the time he retired. I think
Yeah,
2014 13 November. Those 2.5 years, I think there was a gradual drop in his average in Test
yeah,
cricket. In Test cricket, he had basically retired from ODIs before Test cricket. So there was a gradual drop in his Test cricket average, especially because there was so much criticism, so much comments about asking him to retire. Why? I mean, I just don't get it. And that, yeah, definitely, if a youngster is doing really well, you want to fit him in your squad. But I mean, even with that gradual drop of average, I think Tendulkar, without scoring a century, was going at over 30. Like his average was
Yeah,
over 30.
yeah,
Definitely more than whatever Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Virat Kohli are managing since 2019.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean the treatment
It
was
was just
completely
sad state
positive
of
over there.
affairs, and that's been one thing with Indian cricket also. And we hope things change in Indian cricket quite fast. I just want to know
I
your
mean,
take on.
we come to judgment too quickly. I mean, we jump onto conclusions really quick,
I just
and
want to know
we
your
sort
take
of,
on the FTP and scheduling of the ICC as well.
yeah. I think regarding the scheduling of the ICC, I think we have had sort of 2020. There was hardly any cricket because of the pandemic, and 2021 also we had very very little cricket. So I think they had to adjust a lot of things. I mean, not just adjust a lot of things. Players were sort of willing to go out there and express themselves, and also talking about the World Test Championship sort of schedule, you have to complete all the playing nations have to complete those specific amount of series, like series before the completion of the cycle. So I mean, I'll not be too critical about the schedule. You have to, like, you might get some hectic schedule. We can't be complaining about the schedule because if you think about the schedule, you spoke about before, like 2 decades back, we did not have this sort of like really busy schedules. But I would disagree on that, because if you think about the Indian team in 1999 and 2000s, like when Saurav Ganguly was just starting to take the captaincy and just getting into the leadership group, and John Wright was like being the like starting to thrive as a coach for the Indian team. I think at that year, 1999, 2000, 2001, India played over 35 ODIs in each calendar year. I think schedules are just meant, like, you can have busy schedules. It's up to you how you will sort of uh, have your teams play those. So definitely, okay, if Kohli wants to play alternate games, he can play like alternate series. He can play alternate series. Get your B team to play one series and your A team to play another series. I think that is the only feasible sort of solution that I can come to right now, because if you are complaining about hectic schedules and players are not getting enough breaks, so I think this is the only way to go about it. And
Yeah,
I think most of the teams right now, they have their B team. Like even teams like New Zealand, England, South Africa, they have a set of young players, or a set of like the replacement group that may just jump in as the B team and the C team. So I
yeah,
think there are options. At this point of time, with so much cricket going on, especially in the domestic circuit of things, like England have their NatWest T20 Blast, Australia have their KFC Big Bash, and India has their IPL, Pakistan has their PSL, Bangladesh League, and so many leagues going all across the globe. The
yeah,
UAE is growing really quick. It's
yeah,
a like a, sort of a country that is growing really into cricket, and even a country like USA, if you think about it, they have been taking a lot of players, our players who did not get opportunities. Like they're not taking it, like people are migrating to USA, and they are sort of playing for USA.
yeah,
So we
yeah,
have had a lot of participation in cricket lately. With this sort of competition is growing, the number of matches are growing. So definitely, I mean, the schedules will start to become hectic, so you have to adapt to it, and you can have your B team, C team, D team play it,
I
but
think
you
that's
have to
way
play.
ahead, I
There
presume,
are no
in world cricket
excuses.
as well. If you look in the recent past, the world way ahead has been to make different teams, different string of teams, so that scheduling can be
Yeah,
managed better, isn't it?
definitely, definitely.
I just want to know, what do you think about someone like some fast ballers like Bumrah getting a longer period of rest as well, because they are so important in Test cricket going ahead.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. It's not just difficult, I think it's really important to keep your fast bowler in the right shape. We have seen lots of fast bowlers who does not have the kind of career that they could have had if all those injuries would not have played an important factor. Somebody like a Mitchell Stark is really prone to injuries. So it is very tricky to manage a fast bowler, especially the breaks that you allot to him. And I think India, or I mean the entire world can learn how the England cricket board manage their fast bowlers. I think James Anderson and Stuart Broad, at the age that they are, still
Hmm.
dominating Test cricket. They know
But
which
then they just play one
series is.
format, right? So it's easy to play
Yeah, they
one
just play
format
one format.
and stay
I
relevant.
totally get your point. But when they were 27, 28, 29, they used to play all their formats. I mean, James Anderson was a regular in the
Yeah. Yeah.
ODI
But then
unit and
the
the
thing with
T20I unit.
Bumrah is that you're putting him in IPL, you want him in your T20 team, you want him in your one day team. Okay, he's the world's best bowler. I totally understand that, but he's also your number one test bowler. You want him to play in all the matches possible, and you have to manage him pretty well as well. And now you might see fast
I
bowlers
mean,
taking a
India
break
is
from
doing a
one
different.
format.
Yeah,
I
I won't complain on how they're handling
And
Bumrah. I think they're
I
doing a very
credit
decent job.
Australia in the recent past because they were identified, Josh Hazelwood, Patrick Cummins, Mitchell Stark. They are the core members of, or their test squad. So
Yeah,
they
again,
made sure they
again,
would play all
the
the
system
matches.
is exactly like the English cricket board. They know when to play Anderson and Broad, and when to give opportunities to youngsters like Overton and all the newcomers that they are playing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
even for
India have
Australia,
adopted that also, I believe, in the recent past. If you look, Bumrah has not really played a lot of one day matches. Bumrah hasn't really played so many T20 matches as well. You're
yeah,
seeing a new
yeah,
gen of
that is why
ballers.
I think India has been managing Bumrah pretty well, and not just Bumrah. I think India have managed their fast bowling unit really well, because if you think about players like Mohammad Shami, Umesh Yadav, I think
Yeah.
they have been getting their fair share of games.
Yeah.
I will be a bit happier if players like Umesh Yadav, in the form that they are, they get to play more games. But yeah,
Mm,
with the sort of strength that our bowling unit has right now, the Indian bowling unit has right now,
mm,
I
mm,
think it's very good management from the team. Some
yeah.
youngsters like Mohammad Siraj stepping up. There is
Yeah.
Natarajan, Arshdeep Singh, Avesh Khan, all
Mohsin
like
Khan.
in the Mohsin Khan, and
Yeah.
definitely Umran Malik. We
Imran
should
Malik.
not forget
Yeah.
about Umran Malik.
I mean,
So all these players are making.
you have riches of plenty right now. That's a good blessing actually to have, and
Definitely.
it's era in Indian cricket which we have never seen before. The pace merchants, as one would call it. We've got plenty of them, and we would like to manage them better as well. Having said that, thank you, Sandeep Bani, for joining. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was great
Yeah,
to talk about this particular topic because it's a topic of grave concern and grave importance as well. So lovely to share it with you and lovely to talk about it. Thank you, and thank you all for joining as well. Bye bye.